Welcome back to Public Speaking Essentials. My name is Patricia Curty, and today we are going to talk about body language, facial expressions, and those gestures that we should avoid when on a conference video call. Ready to level up from good to great? So let's go. We all communicate through facial expressions. Before even a single word is spoken, we are already communicating with our gestures, our posture, our vocal tone, our body language, our facial expressions. Remember the series Lie to Me, based on the story of Dr. Paul Ekman? Well, in this series, he teaches people how to accurately read people's emotions and facial expressions for forging better relationships and also to find any signs of dishonesty. If you haven't seen this series, I really recommend. There are so many great scenes in there where it's going to help you to understand how the facial expression can say so much, how the body language can say so much. You can say so much without saying a word. So it's very known that nonverbal communication has a huge impact, even more than your spoken words, because depending how your body reacts to what you're saying, people will always tend to believe in your nonverbal cues. If there is a contradiction, a minimal contradiction between what you're saying and what your body is showing, what your facial expressions is showing, people will tend always to believe on the nonverbal cues. So it is time for you to get self-conscious about your on body language and facial expressions and understand what are your non-verbal cues telling other people. So a great way to start is by understanding what you should not do. As we covered last week, the video on the Zoom tips from actors and actresses, the 5 tips that I gave you last week, I thought maybe this week let's continue on that subject and get a little bit deeper into the details, understanding what are key things you should never do it. Really try to avoid as much as possible. So let's find out. Number 1, control your facial expressions. In order for you to control your facial expressions, you have to practice in front of the mirror, understand how, the basic emotions are shown through your face. So here are some examples. Research over several decades have identified 7 basic emotions. Let's take a look first at the basic emotion of happiness here on my picture, which is an emotion that no matter what age, religion, or gender you are, or even what language you speak, it is the same all around the world. So let's take a look at the details on my facial expressions. What we've got here, the muscle around the eyes are tightened. There's like this cross feet wrinkles around my eyes, the cheeks are raised, and the lip corners raised diagonally. Now, let's take a look at another basic universal emotion, fear. Fear is categorized by, you can see on the photo, on my photo here, the eyebrows pulled up and together, the upper eyelids pulled up, and the mouth is stretched. Now, disgust. Disgust, you can see on my facial expression, the eyebrows are pulled down, the nose wrinkled. Very typical of disgust is the nose wrinkled, upper lids pulled up, and the lips are loose. Contempt. Contempt is categorized, especially for the lip corner pulled up and back, one side only. Contempt is the only unilateral expression, and usually the eyes are neutral. Sadness. Sadness is an expression that is very difficult to fake. The inner corners of the eyebrows are raised, usually the eyelids loose and the lip corners pulled down. Surprise. Surprise, you can see on the entire face, the entire eyebrow pulled up, the eyelids pulled up, and the mouth usually hangs open. And remember, if anyone is surprised for more than a second, they are faking it. Now, anger can be categorized by the eyebrows pulled down, the upper lids pulled up, and the lower lids pulled up as well.
The lips maybe tightened, or in the case of my photo here, the lips can be like, when the dog is trying to bark and it goes, whoa, yeah. If you see someone with that facial expression, make sure you start running.
Every expression tells a story. So let yours be a positive, a friendly one. This is so important, especially when you are listening on a passive mode. Don't think you could leave your facial expressions unattended. It could be a disaster. Imagine if somebody is talking and then you start going, anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere. You need to put an effort to look positive and engaging with the conversation. You have to make sure you are with the open body language and smile with a little bit of teeth. It's always recommended, not too much, but a little bit. I mean, don't ever force a smile. It could look a bit macabre, a bit weird, crazy. Try to relax and stay with a nice posture and engage with your eyebrows as well. It's always a good sign that you are looking and engaged and participating and happy to be in the conversation. Number 2, sit up straight. Don't slouch. Remember, your upper body is visible to everyone. Nice, with a nice posture, positive, engaging. Sometimes, move a little bit closer to the camera. A little bit back, a little bit closer. Use your hands. All these movements, nice movement, smooth. Remember, great posture also promotes a great voice confidence. When you have a great posture, your voice becomes a little bit more intriguing and yes, I agree. Or no, I disagree. I think we should do something else with that. It's amazing how your posture can increase your vocal power. It's absolutely amazing. Number 3, don't look robotic. You are a person on the other side of the line, on the other side of the camera. Engage a little bit when you're talking. It's important to use your hands. If you don't use your hands while you're talking, it just looks very robotic. And my point is, I believe, it doesn't matter what is the topic. It can be a very serious, complicated issue. It can be something a little bit more easy going on this meeting. Whatever it is, your hands, they are there to help you to get your message across. And it's another way of engaging with the camera. And people will follow you much better if you're using your hands and you're expressing your ideas, your thoughts. Just let your hands follow the rhythm of your voice and in conveying the story that you're telling and unfolding the story, that you're saying. So if I'm saying, I went over there, I was over here, and then I went over there, let your hands illustrate the picture, show you the story, show them the story that you're telling. And then it became something really big, explosive. Look how beautiful, it's just like, it changes the whole thing. If I say, it was something beautiful and then exploded. Now it changes completely. If I go, it was very little and then exploded. The hands gesture, all this accompanied by a nice voice tone, speaking clearly, all this helps with your communication when you are doing a conference call. These are just a few tips for you today in a very quick video. But if you wanted to study this a little bit more and understand how this can deeply impact your life, let me know. Comments below or send me an email. You have all my contacts on social media. Another tip that I will go before we go to number 3, if you wanted to help someone that is speaking to feel more comfortable with you, try to mirror their body language within reason, of course. And that will make the person much more relaxed and the person will feel much at ease with you. That's a great technique to apply. The mirror technique, it's known in the fields of body language and negotiations. But in this case, on a video conference call, if the person is talking to you and is nodding a lot while you talk, nod back, gentle. It doesn't have to be something like repeating exactly what the person is doing. But if the person doesn't speak with the hands a lot, try to not speak too much with your hands, just the necessary. If the person is a little bit more out, like you can see the person has a great way of speaking, it's very energetic, try to mirror that and be a little bit more energetic. So if you follow their vibes, your likability is going to increase, and there will be a much pleasant video conference. Number 3, eliminate negative facial expressions. Absolutely alarm, no, zero. Anything like a boring face or an angry face, any emotion that is negative, even a yawning, be careful, because then you can kind of set up a whole loop of yawning in your call. Be very conscious about the way you are listening. Take a look at yourself sometimes and look at your facial expression. Make sure you're not doing anything weird. Any sign of negativity in your face can diminish the work of the other person, can put it down. The person that is on the other side can really get demotivated. Tip number 4, spatial awareness. Make sure when you are in a conference, in a Zoom call, in a conference video call, that you are aware of your background, how you're looking, how your head, if your head is touching the top of the camera. If you're looking, if the person on the other side sees only half of you, or just a little bit of your face, or if you are too far away, or if you are too close, it can get a bit weird. So make sure you feel comfortable. Do some trials, do some tests before you go live on a conference. Try different backgrounds in your house. Try some lightings. Sometimes just a little lamp can already put some color in your face. It is very difficult to talk with someone that you can barely see them in the dark, or in a very shady corner of somewhere, or in a very crowded background with so many things that people start losing attention, losing the concentration in what you're saying. Because if the background is too crowded, we tend to start looking at what's in there, and then we're not really paying attention to what is important, right? Which in this case, it's you and your message. So spatial awareness, do some tests, and I'm sure your next conference calls are going to get much better. Now, for me, I like a plain background, as you can see, and I like to have just a normal lighting, sets of lighting. I don't have a 3 setting of lightings right now. I'm sharing down below in the description the lightings that I'm using for this particular setting. And there is nothing really fancy here. It's just like one light behind me. But if you wanted to get fancy, there are many things you can do with lighting, which makes your appearance on camera incredible. You can look really nice, depending on what you wanted to impress, or how you wanted to impress somebody on a conference call. And here you go, 5 more tips for you to increase your likability, your professionality, and the way you feel confident when you are in front of a camera. I hope you enjoyed this little class today, and I see you again next week. Ciao, ciao.